All right, so this is a suggestion via a channel member. The name of the video is How New Yorkers Really Feel About the Migrant Crisis. So this is coming from the channel Alassi Alaman. Let's check it out. Let's see where this takes us, guys. I definitely think I most likely butchered this man's name, but we're going to, hopefully hear it.
Who knows how many of these people were evaluated? We got a lot of mental health going on out here.
Today it was just announced that over $5 billion the last 2 years from New York taxpayers.
For them.
We're getting taxed as Americans everywhere you looked at.
The inflation's skyrocketed in the last 4 years.
All these immigrants in here, you can't send them back.
Nope.
That there's some type of agenda behind it.
They what?
I don't know exactly what it is because I'm not there. But
Plan for them. I don't know what's the plan for them. What are they? I don't know.
So that's all military age. You know what I'm saying? So
A bunch of flat screen TV boxes in the dumpster, they're loaded new mattresses and everything. So they're getting a free stay, free money, everything. Who's gonna pay for that?
Us. Yeah. Right.
Hey guys, so this is the third video I've put out on the migrant crisis. If you haven't already, go check out the first two. The first one is a condensed version of the interviews I had. The second one is a full unedited interview with some Venezuelan migrants and their journey, which was chaotic. And this right now is a reaction of New Yorkers of how they feel about the current crisis. So enjoy it. It's minimal editing. And if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, and enjoy the video.
Let's jump into it.
I have some things to say.
All right, tell me, what are your thoughts on the current migration crisis here in New York?
The current migration crisis. Well, it's suffocating the regular residents that's here. They're suffocating us.
How so?
Especially with the services. We need services. Mothers, fathers. There's a lot of homelessness going on.
Yeah.
Who knows how many of these people were evaluated? We got a lot of mental health going on out here. Everybody here is like a couple of paychecks away from being homeless, and
Not them.
all the homeless shelters are crowded, and they're causing ruckus. They just beat up cops.
Oh.
Really? They are?
Yeah.
Okay, he's basically referencing a kid from Venezuela, really young, but I think he may have lied about his age. He lived in upstate New York. He also, during the time where he allegedly, we have the video. He put his hands on the cop. This is the same kid that was also shooting at the cops in Times Square, right where he's standing. And the police refused to shoot back, obviously, so they didn't hit anyone else, and so they would stop shooting. And that's basically the incident that he's referring to. It's a kid that got caught basically hiding in the closet, and his mother was basically protecting him. But all right, let's go.
Yeah, they beat up cops a few months ago.
How do you
jumped
feel?
the cop.
How do you feel today? It was just announced
He was
that
wearing yellow in
over
the video.
$5 billion the last 2 years from New York taxpayers
It's for them.
was gone for the homeless.
We were
It's going to be
hearing-
double in a couple of years.
Migration.
We thought it was a joke until we realized, yes, I heard they got a green card, they got a debit card and everything. We didn't get none of that. The regular residents that live here needs that. We didn't get any of that.
How does it make you feel as a New Yorker? Does it make you angry, happy? What's the emotion?
As a New Yorker, it makes you angry, but then you still have to push on. Life goes on. You still have to do what you have to do because New York moves so fast.
Absolutely.
So you still have to go to work and just grit your teeth and bear it, so to speak, until someone does something about it.
How do you feel that they're saying that in a year from now they're expecting to double that from $5 billion in 2 years to $5 billion in another year?
I hope they have a plan for them. I don't know what's the plan for them. What are they? I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what's the plan. I don't know.
Give him more money.
More money for them for what?
Right.
Is this the worst you've ever seen in New York with this, or has there been other times that have been just as bad and you guys get through it?
Okay, guys, really quickly. So I am originally a New Yorker, and I want to point out something really quickly. I think that this is probably the worst that we've had it in modern history, at least, guys. Right? If we go back to like the early 1900s, things were different, right? But also they weren't. The city itself didn't call themselves a sanctuary city. The city itself didn't then pay the money of the previous tax payers to the newcomers. That wasn't a thing, right? So yeah, this is the worst that it's ever been in Manhattan specifically. Well, no, in New York. Yeah, it's the worst that it has ever been in modern history.
Well, we used to talk
for New York.
We used to talk crap about the U.S. sending money to other countries and stuff like that. When they was giving money to like China and something like that was going on. But now it's in our face. It's hitting home, and we feel it. So you know, we're working with them. I love my Venezuelans.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them, yes. But you know, they're gonna learn. They're gonna learn. Hopefully they get it right. Hopefully the government gets it right.
Hopefully the government gets it right, bro. The government caused this, right? By specifically saying, hey, listen, the border? What border? We don't need a border. Just let everyone come in, right? What city do you want to go to? New York or Chicago? Basically. Oh, I've heard of New York. I want to go to New York. They get to New York, it's too cold. I want to go to Chicago, oh, it's too cold. They're from a warm climate, right? That's not the point. The point is that the government failed keeping people actually out illicitly, all right? They failed completely. They did not care.
I don't know, man.
And most likely you're going to vote the same exact way you voted last time.
Yeah,
As a New Yorker, shout out to everybody else in New York. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Oh, we know.
After so many people trying to talk to you about the situation here in the migration crisis, everyone seems to be quiet. However, I got my friend Kevin here.
How you doing, my brother?
He's not afraid to speak up. So, Kevin, how do you feel about the current migration crisis here in New York specifically?
In New York, because I'm from New York, the current vibrations is that we are putting too much money into illegal aliens coming in here, all right? Too much money while we have the mentally ill that's here, the veterans that are here, and there's no type of programs that's good for them.
Ooh, well, there is one specific program in Manhattan that does benefit veterans often. They're generally the first ones on the list to be street vendors, for example, right? So all the street vendors you encounter generally are going to be filled with veterans. But unfortunately, these days, a couple of months ago, we made a video about specifically Venezuelans creating street vendor like tables, okay, clogging up the street with things that they pilfered through some type of organized crime racket, guys. Right? That is a program specifically for veterans, to benefit veterans in Manhattan, and now they have to compete with the multiple thousands of brand new individuals coming in and illicitly selling things on the street, when there was only like 100 or 200 or so like legal street vendors in the first place in the city. Now there are thousands of illicit ones taking money from the actual veterans. So there is a program set up, but you know,
and there's no type of programs that's good for them. Then now they just allocated $5 billion.
And you're a New York taxpayer.
I'm a New York City taxpayer.
How do you feel about that?
You know, we getting taxed as Americans everywhere you looked at.
right.
All right, but I don't feel that we should be going towards that. Then with the laws that they implement, you can't even deport them back no more. So they flooded all these immigrants in here. You can't send them back. They're robbing, stealing. You know, they trying to survive, but I don't like. And then
You shouldn't like all of it.
it's the way I feel. You know, you have to come in the right way, like every other alien. Aliens came in. You have to go in the right way. And what they're doing is basically, to me, it's a sham. It's shamming all the New York taxpayers. They shamming everybody. And I don't believe it. You know, it's really, really right when you could turn around and videotape all the mental ill out here, all the veterans that are out here, and they're not getting no type of assistance.
What do you think is going to happen?
What I think is going to happen, the main purpose, to me, I don't want to say, get into politics, the Democrats, Republicans, but they just want votes. They're trying to change these laws, which is illegal anyway. It's a felony for, a non-alien to vote.
Yeah.
And it's all the higher elites that know exactly what they.
Obviously, he means it's a felony. It's illegal for an alien to vote.
They do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's really unhuman, because we all suffer in every country. You're gonna have poor. You're gonna have this and that. But they're flooding the medical. They're flooding the education. They're flooding everything that we're paying for our people, that it's not being met.
It sounds like what I'm getting the vibe is it sounds very unfair.
Oh, it's
That's
very
what I'm feeling.
unfair.
And
Completely.
it feels like you're frustrated by that, especially knowing that you pay a lot of taxes here being in New York City.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going towards shelters here, which there is no clear solution of what that's going to
No,
do.
but the shelters is the city government getting paid under the table for all these hotels that's getting it's all underhanded shit.
That's the nugget of truth right there. Okay. If you want to know why things are not getting fixed, follow the money. At all times, follow the money, no matter what. Right? Yes, there are people getting paid copious amounts of money for them even existing in the city in the manner that they do. Right? Factually, all these hotels are tanking their 5-star ratings, guys. All of them are doing that, right? Because they know if they just stop taking the citizens in, right, or tourists in, they'll get less money, but they'll get more money by not allowing them to come in, because they can just charge whatever they want to the government. Say they ruined this room right here.
You know what they doing?
Yeah.
Use the French.
Everyone is making money.
Kickbacks, and it's all what it is. It's not right. It's not right.
How long have you been living in New York?
I've been living in New York
All his life, I could
And
tell.
what you're seeing now, is this the worst it's ever been, or has it been worse?
No, you go through the eras between the Bronx going crazy with poverty in the 70s and whatnot.
Okay, when I said modern times, I meant like 2000s and up, I'd say, because I don't know nothing about the 70s.
The crack era. It's all different types of elements. But this right here is going to implode.
It's going to implode.
It's going to implode because there's so many people here, and the majority of the men that are here are the age between 18 and 34.
Yeah.
So that's all military age. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna go through a purging period, and these aliens, they here.
But is this the worst you've ever seen here in New York?
It is the worst. Why? Because it's in every borough. You know,
The Bronx specifically went crazy.
Concentrating one part, this up, but this is everywhere. Everywhere. I live in Westchester, going up, and it's just moving further up, and it's every other state too. So it is the worst.
So just what are your thoughts on the current migrant crisis here in New York?
In New York, because it's not just in New York; it's everywhere.
Yeah. So what do you think about it?
Well, I've seen it happening over the years. I've been talking about it for at least the last 7 to 10 years.
7 to 10 years.
7 to 10 years. Yeah,
So
I've watched it happen.
Is this the worst it's ever been?
Yes,
Wow.
for somebody that's been watching it for a very long time.
What do you think about recently they just announced that $5 billion the last 2 years have gone to helping the migrants with hotels, accommodation, all those things. What are your thoughts of that?
I just know that there's some type of agenda behind it. I don't know exactly what it is because I'm not there, but it's definitely something in play that's happening.
Do you think there's a solution to this?
At this point,
Now?
the people here will
They're
have to
here.
get together and stand up against it. It's a lot of places, small places that are fighting against jobs, coming in, developers coming in, and then they're hiring more of the people that's coming in than the people that's already been here. So they're formulating certain things like that, but yeah.
Knowing that your taxes are going to this, does it frustrate you thinking that the borders are open and that they're going to keep coming in and there's no real designated solution? What is your attitude towards the whole thing?
You said a designated solution?
Come this way, sorry, I don't want you.
A designated solution.
No. What's your emotion towards it? Just overall attitude. Is it angry, happy, sad, frustrated? How do you feel as someone that lives in this area, seeing that there's so many accommodations, that they're taking care of these people that illegally cross and all that?
Yeah, I would say uncertain. Uncertain, yeah, because it's being allowed to happen. So for me, there has to be some type of agenda behind it.
Yeah, come on, Rob. Tell me, how do you feel about the situation right now here in New York
Guys, the woman here, that was logical. That was pure logic.
with the migrant crisis?
I don't want to pay for anybody's shit
Yeah? Why do you say that?
That helps too.
because taxes go up, everything goes up, cost of living goes up.
Has things gotten more expensive since they've opened the borders and they've allowed more people in?
Absolutely, inflation's skyrocketing.
Going crazy.
the last
It's going
4
crazy.
years. Yeah.
I mean, be fully aware that there were a lot of things that actually went into the inflation, not specifically just the migrant crisis, guys.
How do you feel knowing that just yesterday they announced that $5 billion from New York City taxpayers
saw that.
has gone into the entire migration campaign and everything, and they're expected to be $10 billion in a year from now? How does that make you feel?
What do you think? Taxes are going to go up even more and make the working class people suffer even more. people that are on fixed incomes, senior citizens, it adds up.
They don't care about that.
Yeah.
Like, listen. None of these states care about this anymore. The governors are all complicit with all this, guys. And what's happening, what should happen at least, okay, at the very least, all of these individuals who had once voted for the people that are currently running these cities need to obviously vote these people out, because they are not for what the people actually want. Okay, I am not sure I've ever heard anyone say at all, I'm paying all this money to taxes for school and for parks and for like activities for my kids, but now all that money is now being diverted to fund people coming in that have broken the law. You're funding criminals, bro. That's what you're doing here. You're funding individuals that broke into the United States of America. The first act in the United States of America was trespassing. They are criminals, by definition, I would say, guys.
So when you see these immigrants coming in these open borders, who do you blame for this? Like, how do you, like, I could get the attitude right now is frustration, but who's to blame for something like this?
Democratic parties.
Yeah. And do you think there's a solution to this? Do you think they're trying to fix it? Do you think it's a cover-up? What do you think of the whole thing?
People want votes. That's what it is. You come here, you get a voting card. You get the right to vote, but in reality, it's just going to hurt the American class people.
Yeah. And have you noticed, like, for yourself, like, any crime rising, or have you seen like things get more dangerous outside of being expensive? Just for your own well-being.
Crime is at the top.
Yeah.
I live in Long Island, and you see that it's coming out and out on the island too. So it definitely,
depending on where he is on the island, guys. I grew up on Long Island specifically. Depending on where he is, I'm sure that it has touched it specifically. If you're like, Nassau County in West, right? But Suffolk County, I highly doubt there's anything going on out there.
It's definitely up. I see it all the time. Like from where I live, you don't have like a mass immigration problem, but like you see more and more of it all the time.
Yeah, but you come to work here and you see it, and it probably affects it in terms of routes. And like, I'm headed right now to the Roosevelt Hotel, which has become like the new Ellis Island, where that's where everyone's being sent to. And it's like, it doesn't seem like they have a solution,
Oh yeah, absolutely. You see all these hotels all around the city, and
they've all fallen.
You'll see a dumpster with a bunch of flat screen TV boxes in the dumpster. They're loaded new mattresses and everything. So,
oh yeah, these hotels are getting money, and I'm sure inside that dumpster you'll find all the food that people just don't want because it doesn't agree with their stomach, because this is not their culture's food.
They're getting a free stay, free money, everything. Who's gonna pay for that? Us.
We
it's
are.
not fair to working class people. I would love free shit.
Oh yeah, give me some free stuff.
Appreciate that, and it's like the people that are getting it are people that haven't even earned their citizenship per se. They haven't gone through the process, and it's like you every day you're working 9 to 5, you're clocking in, clocking out.
I get it. Everybody is original immigrant from in America at one point, but back then no one got any handouts. So yeah.
So I was pointing out earlier.
It sucks that we got paid for that, but I feel like that's all for like get the minority vote so they stay in office because
Wait, hold on. What?
Yeah. It sucks that we got paid for that, but I feel like that's all for like get the minority vote so they stay in office because I feel like when President Trump was in, obviously that wouldn't, if he did some stuff like that, they would crucify him as much as they already did. But this whole Biden administration and Kamala Harris trying to, get the vote for, the minority groups and immigrants, it's all a scam. So that's how I feel. And you see it all the time,
Yeah.
So if you have a million people coming in, who are they going to vote for? The people that give them free stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you got to be an American citizen to vote. So you just got to give them citizenship like that. For years it took forever. Like, it takes a long time for you to get was it not green card, but like a citizenship.
Yeah.
So for all those time being, other people, it took them a long time to vote. So, and then now people are just coming in mass hordes and they get the right to vote. So I don't know. Everything's corrupt.
Yeah.
We just get the shit in the stick.
I mean, yeah, everything definitely does feel corrupt. at the very least. If it is or if it isn't, who knows, right? But it definitely does feel corrupt. My problem is with one thing that he said here, specifically. There have been a lot of statements kind of regarding if you give people free things and you're just basically buying votes and things like that, right? That has always stuck out to me as something that was a little odd, right? Because I think that was also said in like the in 80s, 90s, maybe the late 80s, early 90s. It was when like there was like a mass influx of Cuban migrants coming over from Cuba, specifically on boats, like directly to like Florida, Key West area. Right? And I remember like watching like a documentary on that specific thing and watching how what happened about 15 years later, like in modern times, basically. None of them voted for Democrats. None of them did. That wasn't really a thing. All right. So if you follow what happened, what was being spoken of then, of new migrants, right, to recent times, they're like 3% are Democrats. The thing about it is, a lot of these individuals are coming from countries, right, where they're running from extreme levels of like leftness, okay, extreme levels of leftness, and the last thing they want, keep this in mind here, they're going to take advantage of whatever they can possibly take advantage of while they're here initially, right? But then once they get to the point where things are fine, they're not going to vote the same way, bro. That's not what happens. It's a common trope. It's spoken about all the time, but in practice, there's no legs on it, guys. At all, guys. But it also doesn't surprise me, though, really quickly, about New Yorkers in general kind of all having the same overall opinion. They're experiencing it. Now, I would have loved to know their opinion kind of before they started basically being bussed to New York. I'm sure their attitudes were completely different, because generally you're completely fine with something until you actually experience it. And when you experience it, you're like, okay, this has to stop. This is too much. This is too much, right? And that's where they are right now. They're finally experiencing something, and I definitely, truthfully think that they are going to be changing how they're voting anyway, regardless, pretty much based off of it, because it sounds like the people who left everything wide open were who they voted for, because it's New York, just be honest here. And let's see if they do the same thing again. All right, hopefully you've learned your lesson now, guys, to be honest. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Guys, before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.